It's been a long time since I've done one of these talking videos that the 7 Army like to call a theory discussion video, but this one may be a bit different. I'm still letting my thoughts be truth as I have done in every single video that I've made, but this one may weigh more heavily on the rant side of things. I'm going to be talking about Telltale games spoilers, so obviously if you have not seen any of the Telltale games or played them yourselves, be aware. Telltale games have done a great job with some of their games, and some of the games I'm left feeling confused and thinking, what is this cliche, linear, simple-minded rubbish? Welcome to SIFmasry, but you can call me SIF as everyone does, and this is Telltale, What Went Wrong. Telltale games are known widely and are praised for their interactive storytelling, point-and-click adventure type games, right? For a private-owned small company, they've actually done very well when it comes to the business side of things, and that's not a secret. Telltale games have had multiple financial successes story with the names of games such as The Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, and The Wolf Among Us. Yet Telltale, I feel they have been going on a steep hill downhill that I'm not sure how to feel about. Now currently, you the person watching this video right now, no matter where or whether you are at your desk watching, eating and drinking, or laying on your bed, or you're a 7 Army member who subscribed to me and clicked on this video, or even this video got recommended to you randomly. You clicked this video because you are different from your typical Telltale fan. You like to hear the news, the leaks, the behind the scenes, how Telltale are doing as a company, that sort of things. You play the games and watch potential discussion videos or debates in the forums, or even with you and your friends. Whereas the typical Telltale fan every now and then may hear the news that a new game has been released with a familiar IP that they know and like. For example, The Walking Dead. They play the episodes and go into a waiting period and then play the next episode, and it's a repeating cycle. And they play the next episode when it drops with no contemplation of the story or even care about what is hidden within the stories. My point is that Telltale games are starting to cater towards the typical fans, which is fine because obviously the typical fans make the bulk of the forces who pay Telltale, and in every company you must cater mostly to the typical fan because whether you like it or not, they are the vast majority of their audience. But cater too much to them and too little to your diehard fans, like the ones who actually go to the forums and such, then you start getting unnecessary titles, simple narratives and predictable cliche storylines. This is unfortunately very evident within the newer 2016 and post titles. Minecraft Story Mode, Guardians of the Galaxy and whatnot. These stories are becoming very predictable and unfortunately, and I hate to say this, very cliche. The one fear that a story-based company should fear and loathe is the word cliche. Telltale had an amazing spotlight ever since The Walking Dead Season 1, and every game between The Walking Dead Season 1 to Game of Thrones Season 1 is what I like to call the golden era of Telltale games. It's what I like to mention as the golden era because it was the strongest point. All these games had a nice mix between complex narratives and semi-complex narratives with great character development, with questions that are not even answered until you play the game throughout fully. For example, Game of Thrones had something which is called the North Grove and why it is vital to House Forrester, and fans contemplated why Gregor Forrester never spoke of it to his wife but rather only to a selective few, not even his wife, his most trusted person in the world, or even some of his kids. Or for example, The Walking Dead Season 1 with the constant plot twist of villains in where first you think the bandits are your biggest concerns, but then you meet cannibals who is then resolved quickly, and then for all of a sudden you got more bandits who actually target you, and then an insane woman appears out of nowhere, but then all of a sudden you have another traitor in your group, to all of a sudden a weird creepy stranger who wants to take Clementine from you, and you don't even know who she is, who he is, you don't even know the gender, and you don't even know what he wants. All these golden plot points in Telltale games, and although some of them may say they haven't been delivered in the best way, they are golden plot points and they were still a part of the story, and it was what made it strong and important and what kept the fans actually keep on talking about these plot points even after the waiting period. So what went wrong? I mean, all of that sounds great. Well, aside from Minecraft Story Mode being called a meme, it holds no clear value to the true player. The target audience is suddenly dropped from an 18 rated complex storyline with characters in complicated relationships and constantly dropping F-bombs and holding secrets and grudges from other players and people in the actual universe, to all of a sudden a pixelated Donnie who who sounds like a 2-year-old who's suddenly the master and the owner of this town called Beacon Town, where the target audience is for 8-year-old players. I understand that kids are more willing to splash their parents' money, and I do believe Telltale Game as a company needs to keep them because obviously they are cash grabs, but they've fallen out of their prime time to when even the most favorite franchise such as The Walking Dead has had a pretty bad turnout when they lost their touch. Season 3, or should I say A New Frontier, had a terrible turnout after Season 1 being seen as a masterpiece and Season 2 being seen as an extremely good touch. Season 3 was seen as average. The story was cliche, no real character development. Trip, what is his mindset? How did he stay alive through all these years of pain? I mean, he's seen as a pretty soft guy. What kept him alive? I mean, what did he do before the apocalypse? It was a cliche, pretty much a cliche brother versus brother, Javier versus David story with a stereotypical triangle love relationship, which wasn't bad, but it wasn't original, and I've seen it before. It lost its touch, it felt too unfinished, and the writers kept changing writers, which means some writers who wrote in episode 3, for example, these writers may have had an interesting original plan for Javier in episode 5, and he wanted it to unfold secretly through episode 4 and episode 5, but because Telltale kept changing the writers, these plans kept getting, removed. These plans never made it to the actual game, and all that connection is lost due to them being like the writers being changed quicker than I can tap the respawn button in GTA 5. Guardians of the Galaxy has no real help with it being the blandest story I probably played in a Telltale game. It's not bad, but I don't know if I want to even play episode 3 to be honest. Episode 1 was great, episode 2 was just terrible in my opinion. But yes, I do see some improvements such as hubs, but Telltale still couldn't get the story right. I mean, for me, it was just more family drama which didn't really interest me. More bland cliches such as sibling hates sibling for destroying something they love cliche. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't cut it for me. But perhaps Batman is the only hope so far. Season 2 of Batman may have been one of the best Telltale premieres I've ever played in the longest time. I mean, despite its flaws and that, it was still a pretty good, start to the actual series. But of course, it still has flaws. For example, episode 1's near ending, where Batman was placed within a cage by the Riddler with 2 agents' life at stake, was very stupid in my opinion, and it didn't even grasp my sharpest attention. I felt no connection to them because there was no sense or duty to try and save them by completing the Riddler's riddles, which gives him pleasure. For me, I didn't feel connected to these characters enough where I actually cared and wanted them to live. Rather, I defied actually the Riddler's wishes and decided not to actually 100% complete the riddles, and this actually caused one of the agents' life to die. But in my opinion, that was a good thing because this agent has actually already suspected of Bruce Wayne's interlinks with Batman. So in my opinion, it was a better opinion to have him dead, and so far Batman can actually keep his identity away. But on the bright side of things, you do have the character relationships being shown at the end, and this looks way more promising due to them telling you how the characters feel at the end of the episode by your interactions with these certain characters in Batman: The Enemy Within, which is a step in the right direction, since I feel they will remember that, she will remember that, he won't forget that is a more of a gimmick rather than anything right now, but that looks like it's being turned. Now, my final point is Telltale's multi-year releases. With Telltale releasing multiple games and working on them at the same time, no doubt they can maximize their profit. I mean, it's a smart way. That way, in case one of their game fails financially, it can obviously, the other one can back the other one. But my friend actually sent me a video about this guy who's kind of also ranting about Telltale, and I actually watched their video, and he actually said something along the lines of, if I work on 2 videos and edit them both at the same time and set similar release dates, then yes, maybe I can get both of them out, but one will suffer significantly. One video will be much better than the other. And obviously I don't remember what the actual line was, but it was a very powerful line and a very true one. Telltale say they have lots of employees so the game quality doesn't get affected, but it clearly does and feels more linear and complex with deep, it feels more linear rather than, what Telltale game should be, which should have deep emotions and character development with plot twists. Anyways, I've been SIF. Subscribe if you're new, like if you agree, and comment to tell me what you think about Telltale currently. It'll be very important to see what they believe. Have a great day.